day, Trinbago. Good day to my Caribbean brothers and sisters. Good day. And my brothers and sisters listening in Latin America, if all you're paying attention, good day to all you too. So always sees another blessed day. Every day the Lord Father give you is a blessed day. And we're lucky to have it. So show some gratitude and take a second out your day and give the Lord Father thanks. Because I always tell all you, he give you and he had to give you. So show some gratitude. Anyways, Friday today. So I gotta try and keep it a little light today. I gotta talk about what's going on with Russia and all kind of thing. Yeah, we gotta talk about that. We gotta touch on what's going on with Russia and China and Iran and how that pertains to what's going on in Venezuela. We're going to talk about United States. We're going to talk about Miss Newsari. We're going to talk about something. So let me get into it, So first and foremost, I have to light my cigar, boy. Me have much vices, you know. Nah, man, I don't really as drink and thing, yeah, but I don't drink to get drunk and thing. Nah, me ain't like that at all. I go drink a one or two, you know, till my head start to feel nice and I good. Me ain't like to get drunk and thing. I don't go to a bar and fet and thing. Nah, me ain't had time for that. And I do womanize, I don't do none of them things. So, my vices are few. Knife, I like knife, boy. Well, I like knife too bad, And this, my cigar, that is my vice. So me a bother ain't nobody. And if this cigar bother you, that's your ass business. Me I go change it for you. So, and me I want to hear it bad for you, And yes, a bad government, bad for your health too. So, if you ain't like it, don't watch. But me is stopping for you. So let me get into it. Let me first start with Let me start with Miss Newsari, Miss Flying Carpet. We gonna start with she, Miss $500,000 routine. Let me start with she. Now, I've been keeping up on this planned revitalization of what they say. It's a revitalization and an upgrade to Port of Spain and the ports, among other things. I'm keeping up. Now I see. They want to build a convention center. They want to build a financial hub. They want to expand the port. They want the whole thing they're building. So let me break it down. They're building a highway from San Fernando to Mayaro to transport oil. That's a very good idea. Excellent idea. Easy access to market. Bring money into the country. That's a great idea. That makes sense. I have a question. All you could build that fast. But all the other road and thing in Trinidad mash up. All you're fixing that. But build the highway. Why all of a sudden all you're building that so fast now? I guess it's because ExxonMobil, BP and Shell, now they're going to start to make real money, so they need a way to get their product out of the country. So they need that highway. That's why they're building it. Okay. Then we get into the revitalization of Port of Spain. No, they want to, all of this centered around the port. If you really think about it, it's centered around the port. You have to have a way to ship your goods and services out of the country. How will you do that? You're building a train from here to there to there. No. And you're flying it. So you need to ship it. So you invest in the port, you revitalize the port, you build a bigger port. So they build everything around it. They want to build living accommodations, tech centers. They're talking about what Dubai have and Singapore. They have these tech conference and financial conference every couple years. They want to do that in Trinidad to drive investors. Okay. They want to close down the jail on the island there. And they're closing down them boys' jail. They're converting the island into a resort, an island resort. And they're converting them boys' jail into a art center. So I had a question, where you putting them? Okay. Now they're building a massive jail. But the capacity of the jail is 6,000. 6,000 prisoners at capacity. So I decided to see what is the capacity of the prison system, how much prisoners they have currently in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to know. I need to know them numbers. Estimated about 5,000. When will be the completion date of these projects? Well, phase 1 is supposed to be completed in 2030, by 2030. So the prison have to be finished by at least then. So let me say 2030. Well, that's years away. And the crime stats are going to drop, so they going to go up. So now you will have to allocate extra funds into expanding and changing your plans and making adjustments to the blueprints in order to accommodate. That is more money. Then you're going to build these resort, the resort and thing. Okay, that is money. You're building these new buildings and tech centers and conference centers and the new port and massive expansion. That is billions upon billions upon billions of dollars in money. But where that money coming from? Where? You have 1 or 3 options. Investment, taxes, or a hybrid system, which I will probably go with. I will go with a hybrid system. Meaning a mix of investment and taxation. At least in that scenario, Trinidad will retain some percentage of ownership depending on the amount of investment is required to build this. But the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago cannot absorb any more taxes than they are currently paying. You're paying plenty tax for nothing and nothing gets done. So what are you paying taxes for? They tell you it's for the road, they tell you it's for this, they tell you, no partner, your taxes go into servicing the government's debt. Every time the government want money, they run to the World Bank or the IMF or one of them and put their hand out, we need money. They take out a loan. And now your tax money goes into servicing that loan, not into servicing the country, to paying off the debt. So the majority of this money coming from investors. Now what percentage of that investment or those investors will be local and regional investors? I would love to know, but them are saying. Which leads me to believe with our previous comments talking to Dubai and Qatar and these countries, especially when it comes to the port, the vast majority, more than 60%, will come from them, which ties right back into what I was saying the other day. The Gulf states will now have complete control of the certain aspects of the economy. Number one, the first and foremost and most important is a certain level of commerce. All of these things must be shipped through a port. And if they control the port, they control a certain aspect of the commerce in the country. And you are at their beck and call. Now, they are telling you it's going to create 50,000 jobs to build this. Okay, those are temporary jobs. They go last a few years and after that they're gone. All right. Now let's look at the infrastructure that's going to pop up around it. Now you're going to have a lot of support in infrastructure, but everything is going to be built up around there to support that system. You're either supporting the resort or the other financial institutions or the trade center or the arts center or these particulars or the port. They will be specialized according to that. That will be the vast majority of these supporting businesses that will pop up. Then you're going to have a trickle-down effect. You will have shopping, you will have food, you will have all these different things. But all of those businesses will be reliant on that industry. If for any reason that project gets delayed or doesn't live up to the standards, all of these businesses that will pop up in support of that will suffer. Thus the economy will suffer. But also that that growth, what you will say as growth, economic growth, will be localized to that particular region. It will not have a massive effect on the rest of the islands, just locally, which will drive up the cost of living. The cost of housing, the cost of rent, and all these things are going to skyrocket. Cost of electricity, cost of water, all your utilities will have to go up to support the infrastructure because they are going to use the lion's share of it. Everything will go up in that region. But unfortunately, when cost of living increases, it is not restricted to locally, not only restricted. It will spread. You're going to have people coming from here, from there, from Dago, from Arima, from Chaguanas, from Chagaramas, from all these places coming down there to work. That will increase the cost of living and put a strain on the country. Because now you're going to have to build more house. Now you're going to have to find more land. Now all these things, it's going to create a lot of problems. While the majority of the money that will be made will go straight to foreign investors and foreign nations. It will not be spent in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, me saying is not a good idea. You have to advance. A country must move forward. You have to advance your country. You have to build your country. Otherwise, your country will collapse. It must move forward. But when you are reliant, too heavily reliant on foreign investors, the money that would be generated that could be put right back into the Trinidad and Tobago economy will not go towards the Trinidad and Tobago economy. It will be repatriated back to these individuals' home country, where they will spend the lion's share. So, madam, you still say how you paying for this? You say how you paying for that jail? Not even an estimate on the cost of that jail. 500 acres. Not an estimated cost. And considering that the Sikot jail here in El Salvador costs $162 million to build, and you're talking about a 500-acre compound with multiple different housing units, miners, this one, this one, that, all kind of thing, and you're taking over UTT, the property of UTT, to build it. That is a massive amount of money. Where is that money coming from? The banker wait and see. Okay. Now, I have a lot of people telling me, well, you like PNM, you like this one, you like... I don't like none of them. Not one. I don't have to pledge my allegiance to either one. If you are not doing your job, if you are not fulfilling your contractual obligations, I don't have to have any allegiance to you. I don't care. You could tell me you only had two choices, this and that. That is your only choice. Well, then me choosing either one. You offer me two cars. One car the motor bad. The next car the transmission bad, and tell me that is your only choice, partner. I go walk. Me need you. I go take a maxi. I don't need you. Government, your job, you are public servants. Your job is to serve the public, not get wealthy off of public dollars. That is your job. You're not supposed to get into politics to build to get a pong and a crown. That is not why you are there. You will get a very good paycheck, but you should be doing your damn job. You should put the people of the country and the economy of the country first. Not foreign investors, not foreign corporations, not other countries, not nations. Trinidad and Tobago. You should be pushing to develop more manufacturing in Trinidad and Tobago. You grant an export license to the aggregate company in Tobago. I think it's called Studley, something like that. You grant them an export license. That aggregate could be used in Trinidad and Tobago. They are having a hard time fulfilling orders right now in Trinidad and Tobago. And you grant them an export license, which means for all these projects you have building, you will be required to import materials, costing more money. And creating jobs in foreign countries where Trinidad and Tobago could be making that money, where the government could invest in these companies and help them expand and keep that money in the country. That would be a good idea. You grant them export license. They should have the right to export their goods and services. That is their right. That they're a company, they're a private company, and they can do as they wish. But this is what will happen, madam. Let me give you an example. This. Cigars. Let me talk about tobacco. Talk about cigars. Now we're going to talk about the main countries that produce cigars. There are many. From Mexico to Ecuador all the way through. There are many, but we'll talk about a few. The one all you know, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua and Honduras. So let's talk about those. 80 to 90% of the tobacco they produce for cigars, and it's a massive industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. One of the largest industries in the world. But 80 to 90% of what they produce are not for local consumption at all. And when they do get it locally, they are paying high prices for local products because now they are priced in foreign dollars. They ship the majority, the lion's share of their product goes into shipping, goes for foreign consumption. And very few locals actually have access to that. They have access, not like they should. Now, it does generate a supporting economy, but like I said before, everything around it is dependent on that economy, and if anything was to happen to those companies, the entire thing come crashing down. It's a house of cards, madam. So all this money you putting in there, or you ain't putting in, investors, they need to get something out of it. And they will take the lion's share. And in the process, they will increase the cost of living drastically and drive out the locals from these areas because the cost is too high, funneling them into smaller communities. Madam, is called the donut effect. The cost of living there will become so high that people will leave and very few will live there. Only the ones that could afford to live there, that are making very high salaries, will live there. Everybody else will have to transport themselves there. And they will leave. That will create a population problem in smaller communities. And with the influx of people coming to these smaller communities, will drive up the cost of living there as well. And everywhere else they go. There is your problem. And you still haven't said how you plan on paying for all of this. The bank will wait and see. I have a feeling it will be Qatar and UAE. And the United States. And when you start to control the commerce and the ports, they pretty much control the country. Because now they have an economic leverage against the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Or more so leverage against the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And you will implement laws and policies to benefit them, not Trinidadians. They will receive tax breaks, while Trinidadians will receive tax increases. They are not citizens of the country. And their tax obligation to the country will be limited in comparison to Trinidadians. So what will you be getting out of it? Love to know. Love to know the answer to that. And you still haven't tell everybody how you plan on dealing with crime. Now you want to build a new jail, a nice jail, and that's good. It's a good start. With the same corrupt judicial system, the same corrupt police, the same corrupt prison guards, corruption from the top down, from the government all the way down to the ground. The same corrupt system all you're going to implement in a new jail. And you expect any changes? Your crime policy and the crime policy of the PNM was to put them in jail, leave them in jail and forget about them. That was both of all your policies. How that work now? How it working? They're working so good, you know. But now you're going to put them in a nicer jail and forget about them. That is smart business. That is how you do it, man. Just chuck them there so and forget about them. And don't think about them again. Nah, don't think about them. Tell the country that the weed is the problem. Tell them that. Tell them the drugs is the problem. Yeah, not overtaxation that cause hyperinflation. Drugs is the problem. It's the gangs. Yes, man, it's the gangs. And I am not disagreeing. It is a bad problem. Plenty of people dying because of it. And I'm fed up saying, my brothers and sisters getting killed in the country while you choose to do nothing. Nothing. But America called a state of alert, a security alert for you, Trinidad and Tobago. And madam, you jump up fast. One time and fix it. One time. Right away. Last time you were there, you call a state of emergency and you do nothing. You are there now, you call a state of emergency, which Trinidad and Tobago is still in a state of emergency, and you still choose to do nothing. PNM do nothing when them was there either. But you're building a new jail. Your house falling down. But you bringing in an architect and all kind of thing to build an addition. All the house falling down. Smart. That's smart business. Now let me talk about what's going on. Madam, if you're listening, and for my brothers and sisters in Trinbago, listen up carefully. I tell all you before. Iran and China go get involved. Well, it come out on the New York Times. It come out on Times of India. It come out in the newspaper in Washington and all over the world actually coming out now. China and Iran are involved with Venezuela now. Tell you that. I tell all of them had drones and things already. Come out, they have manufacturing there. Not only that, Iran has already shipped them advanced drone technology along with Russia. And now, Russian media, Russian news are saying that Venezuela already has Oreshnik missiles and the Caliber missiles, among others. Same thing I say. Very same thing. Now I think I like Maduro. I do not like Maduro. I grew up going to Venezuela. I remember what Venezuela used to be before Chavez. I remember the country well. I am not a young man. I have seen what they have done to their country. That is socialism. That is Marxism. That is communism. They are all one and the same. It work in Cuba. It work in Russia. It work in Venezuela. As a matter of fact, Russia had to adapt the whole economy and change their policy. So now it's still a form of socialism, but more of a capitalist version of socialism. And China is the same. China, you can't get in your house if you get a bad social credit score. You can't get in your house. You can't go nowhere. You can't buy food. You're on the road. Digital ID. China doing it for over a decade. And that is what America want to bring. That is what they are bringing. That is what they're doing in Canada. That is what is coming. That is what they're going to do in England. That is what they're going to do all over the world. That is what's coming. And in order to do that, you need data centers. And in order to have data centers, you need these rare earth minerals, which all these countries have, and you need oil and asphalt. And that is why United States just blew up our next boat there. 70 people get murdered there. Now they could very well be shipping drug and thing, you know. Me saying no. What I am saying is the Coast Guard in Miami have the ability to stop every drug trafficker trying to get into Miami. Seize the drugs and arrest them. But the United States government and the military, they can't do that. Nah, man, blow them up, ask questions later. Break the Geneva Convention. Break UN laws. Human rights violation. International law they're breaking. You must have due process. You must have it. It doesn't matter what you are accused of. You must have due process. You can't just murder somebody because you want to kill them. If you want to fix your country, fix your country. That is your right. But what they are doing is building, trying to rebuild their country. Because their financial system is crashing. They have no money. United States does not have money. Everything they're doing now, they basically paying on a credit card. They ain't had nothing. The country's on the verge of financial ruin. But they tell all they're living good. While they're showing up there to thief what all you have. And make no mistake, they are there to steal and thief. Pad their pocket. Control your resource. And thus control your government. So that they will in turn make policies to benefit them and not you. All you will be left with and all you have right now is a flag and an anthem. Because 82.5% of all the resources in Trinidad and Tobago is owned by foreign nations. 82.5%. And when Ms. Kamala started to talk about the revitalization project, that is putting another 5 to 10% in the hands of foreign nations. And your taxes will go up. Your cost of living will go up. But you're going to have some nice place to go and fet. But you ain't going to have money to go there. It going to look nice, man. But you can't pay for your house. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your light bill and your water bill. But you have some nice place to fit and shop. What they are talking about, and they are silently doing in a smart way, is handing over economic control of the country to foreign nations for pocket change. That is what is happening. Because them building that road fast for oil. But they ain't gonna fix up all the pothole and thing in the road, and we have the asphalt. They ain't gonna fix it there. But they go fix it for them there so. I'm quick for war with Venezuela. When there are diplomatic approaches to this, and they have tried nothing. Nothing. They tell all of we talk to them, we try them and do nothing, not one ask them to. Because they have no interest in that. Because they believe when the United States seizes control of Venezuela and they see the first thing they do is taking control of the oil. Donald Trump came out and said that. So that they cannot use it to fund terrorism. The same thing I tell all you he would say. He come out and say it. Trinidad believes that if and when the United States seizes control of that oil, that Trinidad they'll get them a piece of the cake. You ain't getting crumbs from that cake. Because who will own and control your refinery? Then Trinidad and Tobago. And who will control the Dragon pipeline? It's at Trinidad and Tobago. And who will control the asphalt? I promise you it's going to be Trinidad and Tobago. And now that new weapons and all them things being shipped to Venezuela, which are already there, them telling you they're shipping it. I tell you, when they open them out and say they're shipping it, they already have it. And I told all you, the rumors are Venezuela already has a nuclear weapon. Those are the rumors. Given these recent events, I promise you Trinidad, the United States will be back on the base, will control the base in Trinidad and Tobago. 100%. Wait and see. Just wait and see. And these drones could fly from Venezuela to Miami. And they have a hard to impossible time shooting them down. What will happen if a few of them fly into Trinidad? MS wait and see. All you're talking about revitalization and all these things. You ain't sure if you're going to have a country. You don't know what's going on there, sir. And you don't know what they are capable of. But you're talking about revitalization. You're talking about building this and fixing that and art center and all kind of thing. People can't afford food. You feel them had time to go buy picture and all kind of blasted stupidness. You feel they had time for that? You think about revitalization while the country's suffering, while people struggling, people don't have food. I have people messaging me here telling me they don't have food. But worry about your revitalization. Worry about that. While Russia, Iran and China are supplying Venezuela, and China has an embassy in Trinidad and Tobago. I told you that. I told you that. Well, you call me a madman. Well, I's a madman. I's a madman. Wait and see. Wait and see. Because it's happening all over the world, you know. This is not an isolated incident. This is a planned collapse follow the numbers. Look at the fluctuation in the stock market. There was a graph that was put forth in the 1800s showing every collapse, every peak and every collapse. And every single one was right. Right now we are at a peak, but there will be a crash and a collapse in 2026. Everything is crashing down. And then it will stay at the bottom until at least 2030. That is a depression. That is what's coming. And they know it. That is why they are rushing to build these data centers and implement a new digital system, because they can manipulate the data and the money. That is why. Wait and see. Just wait. Anyway, all you, like I always say, make sure all you have. Make sure. Because I tell all you, when you're children, it's not when they making noise, all you is worrying, it's when they quiet. Don't be complacent. Don't get catch without. Because at any minute something could happen, and when it happens, it's too late to do anything. You ain't go get. You could go by the grocery store and pack up, you can't even get inside there, so. You ain't go get, You ain't go get. So make sure you have medicine, make sure you have food, make sure you have extra tank, make sure you have some wood and thing or charcoal, make sure you have. An ounce of prevention is worth upon a cure. Make sure. Because some government filling all your heads with grandeur and all these beautiful things that going to happen. When Rome was falling, the emperor of Rome put on games in the Colosseum. Games to appease the mob. And them realized the country falling. And by the time they realized, it was too late. Gone. Empire gone. Rome gone. Pay attention. Open your eye and see. Them are telling all you what really going on. But them preparing themselves for what's happening. All of them. All them billionaires and all them people with real money building bunker and all kind of thing. They know what is coming. They are aware. You had Donald Trump and all these people, they moved their family and everybody onto military bases. They know what is coming. Do not be fooled. Follow the money and you will get your answer. Follow the money. All right. As always, I love my Trinbagonian brother and sister, all of you. Regardless, all you like me, you like me, it don't matter. I still love all you. We're one people. The whole Caribbean is one people. We don't have a choice. All of we brother and sister. So I love my brother and sister too bad. I love all you too bad. So make sure, love your brother and sister as you love yourself. Don't matter how we what. Love your brother and sister as you love yourself. Because together we aspire. Together we will achieve. But divided, all of we go fall together. All of we will fall. Because a house divided cannot stand. Remember that. Love your country. Love your family. Look after one another. don't fall for them lie and game. Because a lie they giving all you is a game they playing. I tell all you, they go put all of we in a different pen. They go feed everybody a different lie. They go put a different tag on everybody. And then they sending all our we to the same slaughterhouse. None are we different. All are we the same. That difference I'm telling all you, that is a great deception. Because God make all our way. So we are not the same. No, we are not different. Sorry. We are all the same. Slip of the tongue. We are all the same. It has no difference. God make all our way. So pay attention. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Or you go see plane and think flying around because I'm flying bomb and thing regular now. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. And as always, God bless all you. God guide all you. God keep all you safe. And God grant you strength and compassion. And God bless Trinidad. God bless the Caribbean. And God bless all we brothers and sisters around the world. From Latin America to Europe, it don't matter. God bless everybody. All right. Well, you have a good Friday. Take it easy, John.